Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be about my weight loss and fitness journey so far. This is actually a really hard video to film because I'm kind of putting myself out there for criticism, and I know that everybody's journey is different and mine hasn't been a great journey, especially in the beginning because I wasn't doing things the right way or the healthiest way. And I am acknowledging that ahead of time. So please learn from my mistakes. Don't do what I did. I'm going to get into that in a moment. And I hope that you guys can kind of take something away from this. I did put up on my Instagram for you guys to ask me some questions about weight loss and fitness. So I am going to be answering some of those questions today. But before we get to the advice part, let's go through my journey and how I ended up here. So I have always been overweight. I've been overweight since I was a kid. I remember getting made fun of for being fat. I remember being very self-conscious about my body. I had people in my life that were very negative about the way that my body was. And I don't think that they were coming from a place of hatred. I think they were coming from a place of love. But in the end, they damaged my self-confidence more than I think that they meant to. A combination of low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and being in an abusive relationship from the age of 15 to the age of 20, I never had a fit or healthy body, but I was gaining a lot of weight, and I was stress eating. I was eating my emotions. I still find comfort in food, and that is not the way it's supposed to be. And my weight crept up so far that my doctor told me she would have to pull me off my birth control if I didn't start to lose weight. And that was very, very scary to think that because I had gained so much weight that I would no longer have that choice of birth control. Now, I don't know if it's like that for everyone. It could just be my specific birth control. It could have been my specific doctor. I don't know if anybody else has ever had their doctor tell them, oh, well, you've reached this weight threshold, and if you continue to go down this path, you won't be able to use this birth control anymore. So disclaimer that not everybody probably went through that. In November of 2016, I finally moved away from Alabama to Missouri, and the change was significant because I no longer had a support system. I didn't have my friends. I didn't have my family. I was in a state where I knew no one, and a job where I knew no one, and it was really scary. So between then and my trip to Ireland in April of 2017, I didn't take very good care of myself. There was nobody there to watch me. There was nobody there that was going to judge me. So I ate what I wanted when I wanted, and I just laid on the couch and kind of wallowed. I didn't do any of the things that would have made me feel better about myself for myself. In February of 2017, I went to Ireland to see my then boyfriend, my then long distance boyfriend, and I knew that he was going to propose. And a lot of people were like, oh, that's not fun, knowing that they're gonna propose. I didn't know exactly when, and I didn't know how. But we were going through immigration, and obviously we had that talk that we were going to get engaged because we were going through the fiancé visa process. And maybe I'll do a video about that one day. I knew I had gained weight before I went to go see my boyfriend, and it had been, I want to say, about 1.5 years since we had seen each other in person. And I had told him ahead of time that I wasn't feeling great about my body, that I felt very self-conscious, and none of my clothes fit anymore. And I wasn't feeling great. I was very scared to get on the plane. It was my first time being on an airplane. It was my first time going out of the country. It was just all nerve-wracking, and it made me so anxious. When I got on the plane and I sat down in my seat, first thing I did was try my seatbelt. And thank God it fit, because I wanted to already cry because I felt so squished in the seat. Long story short, I went over. I had a fantastic time with him and his family. It was absolutely wonderful. I cannot wait to go back. When I got home and I saw all the pictures go up, I cried because I realized how much I had let myself go and how much I wasn't caring about myself. I realized right then that I needed to make a change. So I got a scale and I weighed myself, see how much I actually weighed, and I weighed 184 pounds. Now that's a lot for somebody that's only 5'2" and a half. And then I was like, okay, this is the starting point. This is where we're going to start. As much as I hate to see this number on the scale, as much as I don't want to look at myself in the mirror, this is where we start. I found a wonderful subreddit called r/lose-it, and if anybody wants to have a jumping off point for how to lose weight, r/lose-it is the place to go. That's my first piece of advice of the video. You should go to r/lose-it. First thing I did after going to r/lose-it and browsing all of the beginner stuff, browsing the fact, kind of just digesting all of the information, I downloaded MyFitnessPal and I logged in my weight. I logged in how much I wanted to lose a week. And then I decided, okay, we're gonna start counting calories. And I ordered a scale from Amazon. And until the scale arrived, I decided I would just estimate what I was eating because I had no way of knowing actually how much I was eating without the scale. So I used measuring cups and I used a graph that I found on Pinterest. This is where things go a little off the rails. And this is where I want you guys to take caution and not do this. So MyFitnessPal told me for me to lose weight, I think it might have been 2 pounds a week. It might have been 1 pound a week, but I can't remember. But it was to eat 1,200 calories if you were sedentary. I considered myself sedentary. I still kind of consider myself sedentary, even though that's not the case anymore. But I worked a desk job. I didn't have a gym membership. I didn't have any equipment at home. The most I did was walk. And even the walking, it wasn't enough. So I allotted myself these 1,200 calories. Now, there's nothing wrong with eating 1,200 calories, and there will be a lot of people that disagree with me, and that's fine. So do not take this as gospel. Every journey is different. Everyone is their own person. Talk to your doctor. With that said, so I had these 1,200 calories. Where I massively messed up was my nutrition. Now, I figured with 1,200 calories, I'll skip breakfast, I'll have a small lunch, and then I'll have a decent sized dinner, and then I'll have lots of snacks because I like to snack. I am also addicted to potato chips, and I don't use that term lightly. I am absolutely addicted to potato chips. What I started to do was I would skip breakfast. Sometimes I would even skip lunch. I would have an okay dinner. Sometimes that would be 4 ounces of salmon with a baked potato and some asparagus, which was pretty healthy on its own, but it really wasn't enough to put into my body. You want to know where the rest of my calories went? Just take a wild guess. Take a wild guess. I'll wait. Potato chips. I would sometimes use 600 to 800 calories of my daily allowance for chips. Now, did I lose weight? Yes, I lost weight, but at the cost of my muscle deteriorating, the fact that I had no nutrition value in any of my meals, I had no idea how to eat properly, and I gave it to a snack that I let ruin and take over my experience with losing weight. So basically, long story short, I went from 184 to 143. 143 was my lowest recorded weight. However, I did gain a little bit back. I went up to 145. And at this point, it had been about, I want to say about a year at this point, because Alec and I were having our wedding in Alabama, and I had just gotten my dress. When I took the dress to be fitted and altered, the seamstress told me, do not lose weight, do not gain weight, try to stay as you are now as much as you can. Staying at 145 ended up being a little hard. I tried very much to maintain, so I went into MyFitnessPal and I told it I wanted to maintain my weight, that I was still sedentary, and it spit me out a calorie amount. I think maybe it was 1700, 1800 calories was my maintenance. And the first week was very, very hard. I was like, how am I gonna eat this much food? How? Guess how? Potato chips. I wish I could go back in time and like tell myself, this is a bad decision. This is a bad decision. Just because you have 1800 calories doesn't mean that like 800 of them needs to be potato chips. So I ended up incorporating a breakfast back into my routine, a small lunch, a decent sized dinner, and lots of snacks. And by a small breakfast, I mean like 100 calories. Like I would have a packet of grits as a packet of instant grits, I should say, for my breakfast. And then I'd have a small lunch. Usually that was like leftovers from dinner the night before, which could have been anything. Could have been soup, a stew, something I made in the crock pot. And then dinner was whatever Alec and I would make that night. We did not eat healthy when he first moved in. And at this point, we were still not eating that healthy. We were still going out to eat 2 or 3 times a week. We were still making unhealthy dinners. I was still snacking a lot. So all around, my nutrition was absolutely horrible, even though I had lost this weight. And spoiler alert, I did manage to maintain for my wedding dress. So from the wedding until I signed up with a trainer and for a box gym, I gained about 5 pounds. I went from 145, the day of my wedding day, I was 147. The day that I signed up for the gym, I weighed 150. Now, the gym. I decided to sign up for the gym because I had been in a plateau for about 4 weeks. Most people will tell you that that is not a plateau, and they are right. That was not a plateau. That was me not treating my body right. So when I signed up at the gym, the first thing they told me was I could get a free session with a trainer. And I thought, fantastic. I'll have the trainer for my one free session. They can show me the ropes of the gym. They can show me how the machines work, because I wasn't 100% sure what I was doing. And maybe they could even write me out a routine. So I get my free session with the trainer, and she weighs me, she measures me with a tape measure, and then she also does my body fat percentage. And then we sat down, and she wanted to know what I had been doing. What was I doing there? What was my nutrition like? What was my routine like? And I just kind of told her, you know, I let chips be half of my calorie intake. My sweet, sweet trainer did not judge me at all. She was like, well, we need to change that. And I was like, you're right, we do need to change that. So my first session with her was actually really awesome. And she showed me around the gym a bit, looked at a couple of machines, and then she gave me a workout and kicked my ass. And it was amazing. After my free session, the gym let me know that they were doing a special that if you do 3 more sessions, it would only cost you $99. So I did that, and I managed to get that same trainer. We worked really well together. I was very excited to see her again. And I saw her for 3 more sessions. At the end of those 3 sessions, we sat down and she showed me how much it would be to keep seeing her. And I went home and talked to my husband that night, and I told him I needed this. That I felt like we had to make room in our budget, because I realized that I couldn't do this by myself anymore. That I really, really needed outside help. I'm gonna go ahead and check my privilege here. I am extremely fortunate to be able to afford a personal trainer, but I truly felt like it was the decision that I needed to make that was best for me, and I still am glad that I made that decision. So let's talk about where I am now. So that trainer, I saw her for about a year, And in that time, my weight fluctuated a lot. I would gain weight, then I'd lose a little bit, and then I'd gain weight, and then I'd lose just a little bit. And it got really frustrating. So we talked about it, and she told me, you know, maybe we stop stepping on the scale because we're building muscle. I was working out really heavy, I was lifting a lot of weight, and she had also increased my calories. I went from 1,200 calories to 1,500 calories, focusing on whole foods. And let me tell you, going from 1,200 calories of junk and processed foods to 1,500 calories of whole foods was extremely hard. I was having a tough time eating 1,500 calories of fruits, vegetables, and protein. I struggled really hard the first few months with that. I started seeing my trainer in November of 2018. By November 2019, I was sitting at 169 pounds, which means I had gained about 19 pounds from when I started lifting. Now, I do want to take a step back here because I can look at past Megan and like see her frustration. I can also see coming from myself now that a lot of those feelings were coming from low self-esteem, no self-confidence, and the fact that I didn't understand that I was building muscle in that time as well. Now, was some of that weight fat? I'm sure it was, but my measurements had trended down. My clothes from my 150-pound weight still fit, but I still felt like I wasn't accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish. Me and my trainer sat down and we talked over my nutrition again and reevaluated the plan and decided, you know, this is what we're going to do from now on. And what kick-started my weight loss again was a 4 or 5 week challenge that our gym did. Now, the challenges that were set were by our trainers, so most of our challenges were very personal to us. And there were several of mine that I think contributed greatly to my weight loss trending back down again. Now, some of my personal challenges were really good for me. Most of them I've implemented into my routine now, and I'll go over my routine at the end of this. So, one of my personal challenges was to meal prep every week. Another one was to drink so much water. Another one was to do a group class every week. Another one was to meet a specified protein goal by my trainer every day for 3 weeks. So these personal challenges really kickstarted my weight loss start trending back down. I am currently sitting at 162 and I am really pleased with that. That's about 7 pounds from December to now, the end of January, which is pretty healthy, and I know I did this in a healthy way. I did not eat half my calories in potato chips. And maybe potato chips isn't your thing. Maybe it's candy, or it's chocolate, or it's cookies, or donuts. Maybe you have some kind of kryptonite, and that's where you spend a lot of your calories. And if you don't count calories, maybe you just make up a lot of your food that day in that specific thing. So let's talk about me now. Since December, I have been focusing heavily on nutrition. I not only count calories, but I also track my macros. And I want to make this clear that I am not good at counting macros. I don't completely understand it. There's only one macro that I track and keep a count of, and that is my protein. And that is significant for me, for my weight loss, and for building muscle. And however you want to do your journey, however you want to track your calories, track your macros, or eat intuitively, that is completely up to you, your body, your trainer, your doctor. Do not take anything that I say as gospel. I also follow a workout routine, and that is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, I am at the gym. Monday and Wednesday, I'm with my trainer, and we go to a different gym than the one that I originally started seeing a trainer at. On Friday, I go to my box gym, and I either do a workout recommended by my trainer, or I look back at our past sessions, and I do one of those workouts. And on Saturday, I do a group fitness class that's about 60 minutes, and it is a very hard workout. I would call it HIIT training or circuit training. So that is like my heavy hitting days, is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So on Tuesday and Thursday, if I have the time, I try to do yoga. and it's really good for mobility. It's really good to stretch out the sore muscles. It makes me feel good. If you want an excellent YouTuber for yoga, I highly recommend Yoga with Adriene. Okay, so now that I've talked enough about myself, I'm going to answer some of the questions that I got on my Instagram, and hopefully these tips help you guys out. I've been on this weight loss journey for over 2 years now, so I feel like I have a little bit of know-how, but like I said, your mileage may vary. Don't take what I say as gospel. I feel like I need to insert a clip here of me saying, not a beauty guru, don't come for me. Not a beauty guru, do not come for me. So I got a lot of questions about meal prep, and I'm going to give you guys some recommendations on how you can get started with meal prepping. First thing I want to recommend is going to Our Meal Prep on Reddit. I love Reddit. They are full of subreddits that are extremely helpful. Our Meal Prep has pictures, they have recipes. You can pretty much scroll through there for days to find things that you want to try. You can go on Pinterest, you can search meal prep, whether that's high protein, low carb, low calorie. They pretty much have everything. If you're vegan, if you're vegetarian, you can type in those keywords with meal prep, and tons of things will pop up with pictures, with recipes, detailing you exactly how you can get that done, usually in an hour or less on a Sunday. If you don't want to use Reddit, if you don't want to use Pinterest, and YouTube is more your thing, I highly recommend Mind Over Munch. She does these 3-2-1 meals where she does all of her meal prep in an hour, and it is really, really awesome. So if any of that interests you, Mind Over Munch on YouTube, Our Meal Prep Sunday on Reddit, or Pinterest. As far as making recipes and things that could be helpful, you can go on Amazon and order glass meal prep containers. I don't recommend using plastic. If you're going to heat these up in the microwave, you want to use glass. They're going to last longer. It's better for the environment. I also recommend a crock pot. If you are a one-person household, a two-person household, you're like, I don't think I really want to do a crock pot. It seems like a lot of food. I got you. All you need to do is when you make your crock pot meal, you're going to portion out whatever you eat for dinner that night, if you have it for dinner, and then you portion out your lunches. And if there's still food left over in the crock pot, you're going to put it in a container and you're going to put it in the freezer. I also got questions about workouts. So I just kind of told you guys about my workout routine. If you want some really good places to find workouts, I highly, highly, highly recommend these YouTubers: Whitney Simmons, Meg Squats, Smalletics, Naomi Kong. Naomi Kong is actually really, really good for beginners. She's got entire playlists dedicated to using machines at the gym, beginner workouts. She's really great if you're just starting out at the gym. I already mentioned Yoga with Adriene, and also there's Blogilates. She was my first experience into the fitness YouTuber world, and she's still going pretty strong. I believe she has an app, and she also has 30-day calendars that have workouts on them. She does a lot of stuff, so if you're open to maybe paying for an app or going to her website to download these calendars, Blogilates is really awesome. And the last thing I'm going to recommend as far as workouts go, if you want to start off without a gym, without equipment, the best thing you can do for yourself is walk. And if you're past the point of, walking doesn't really do much for me anymore, or I walk all the time, what's something that's really gonna get me going? And that would be running. And I highly recommend Couch to 5K. There are several Couch to 5K apps on the App Store and the Play Store. I personally use Zen Labs, but there are several others out there that you guys can download and try out for yourself and see what works for you. I actually got a question about how to get started. So what I'm gonna do is kind of give you guys a condensed version of the healthy way to get started losing weight. And I actually made notes on my phone, so I'm gonna read from my phone so that I'm not gonna mess this up. So basically I created a no bullshit quick start guide on my phone, and I'm gonna kind of read some of these points off for you guys. I'm not gonna go too deep into it because we don't have enough time in this video. But if you guys want a detailed video about how to get started with weight loss or fitness, let me know down in the comments below. My first step would be to download MyFitnessPal. It's free, it's easy to use. Most people that start their weight loss journey use it. There's also Lose It, and I believe there's another app, but since I'm familiar with MyFitnessPal, I'm going to be using that as an example. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to download MyFitnessPal and you're going to enter your current stats. Don't enter what you wish you could be, enter what you are now. Be truthful, be honest, and just put that stuff in there. Remember, you are not a number. You are worth more than that number on the scale. Just saying. What you're going to do after you put in your stats is you're going to set MyFitnessPal to sedentary. And I'm going to tell you why. Even if you're not sedentary, this is why you do this. You can manually put in your exercise and your workouts. Now, obviously, the calories burned might not be correct and they may not be the most accurate, but if you have like a fitness watch or if you go by the machines, you know, you can use that at your discretion. None of it's accurate, but you can manually put in your workouts. And I'm also going to tell you to maintain your current weight. Don't put in that you want to lose 2 pounds a week. You're going to maintain your weight for the first week, and I'm going to tell you why. The first week, you're actually going to use that to just log the food that you eat every day. You're not going to worry about trying to change the way you eat. You're not going to worry about low-calorie food, low-fat food, or anything else, or going vegan or vegetarian if you weren't originally. You're just going to log what you usually eat for the week. And don't lie. You might be like, oh, I had like half a pack of Oreos. Put that half a pack of Oreos in there. It's okay. All you have to do is read the nutrition facts to add in the calories. A lot of times MyFitnessPal auto-populates that stuff. So if you go in and you type in Oreos, it'll pop up and be like, 6 Oreos is this many calories. And you can go in there and say, I had 24 Oreos. And it'll pop up and say, this is how many calories it is. And it subtracts from your current calories, which is really nice. I also recommend a scale during this process so that you can actually weigh your food as you're eating it so you know how much you're actually eating and you're not like, oh, I just had half a cup of chips today. No, it was probably more like 2 cups. So let's, like I said, keep it honest. For week 2, you're actually gonna work on setting your first goal. And I personally recommend you put in there, you want to lose half a pound to a pound a week. So for your second week, you are setting your first goal. You're also going to take progress pictures. You're also going to take measurements of yourself with a clothing tape measure. You can get those off of Amazon. And you're going to aim to get within 100 calories of your new calorie goal. Now, from this point on, before I get into too much detail, because I wrote way too much on that quick start guide, you are going to focus on making small changes. You're going to work on your nutrition. So if you know, like me, that you eat too much junk food, start transitioning out some of that junk food for whole foods until eventually, you know, you crave whole foods. You're not going and picking up fast food every night, that kind of thing. So these small steps will lead you into a healthier lifestyle. And I hope that helps. I hope that gets you started. I also got a question about motivation, and I'm really excited to answer this one because I wanted to go over this in my last video with my goals and resolutions, but I didn't get to. For my motivation this year, I started a bullet journal, which I'm pretty excited about. I've never had a bullet journal before, which is strange considering I love to draw and I love to write. So I put in here like my, please don't judge me, I'm not very good at this yet. So I put in like my 2020 goals for my body, mind, nutrition, and more. I put more. I guess that was a non-category. But so the goal is for me to fill this book up with things that I find motivating. And I did a sweat planner where I talk about my workouts and I check them off as I go. And then I did a little weight tracker that I massively messed up because I'm not very good at this. And I haven't done too much else. I kind of started a rewards page, but I really want to dive more into this bullet journal because I think this is a great way to not only track progress, which is motivating, but it's also a really good creative outlet. Other ways to keep motivated is to take progress pics and line those suckers up so you can see what's happening. Take measurements, so 1 month You can compare to the next month of your measurements and you can see them go down. I don't recommend using the scale as a motivator because the scale goes up and down. It just does. There's lots of reasons for that, and you can find tons of videos on YouTube talking about why the scale fluctuates. I'm not going into that here, but I would find ways to reward yourself in a non-food way to keep you motivated. One more thing, I'm going to insert some footage here of my motivational board that I created. And so what is on that board is some phrases that kind of make me feel good, fill me with confidence. I also have on there my starting deadlifts, my starting bench presses, etc. I have some encouraging words from my trainer, and I have like a section where I have my weight, and I have a section where I have my measurements. So I get to look at that board, and then once a week I get to go on there and be like, my bench press went up. So I get to make a new card and put it up there and look at where I started and see where I am now. And it's motivating to be able to look at that board every day and be like, I am improving so much, look at me go. And it's not even scale related. Okay, you guys, I think this video has gone on long enough. I think we're sitting at an hour. I can kind of see how much time has gone by. I think it's been an hour. So I've got to edit this down, take out all of the ums and ahs, and get this up on YouTube for you guys. And I am so excited about this video. I'm really glad that you guys asked me questions on Instagram. I will link my Instagram down below, and you guys can follow me and watch my stories for the next Q&A. I also want to say in regards to the next Q&A that I am less than 10 followers away on WordPress from my first 1K of followers. And so to celebrate that, I will be doing a giant Q&A on Twitter and Instagram. And I'm going to take all of those questions, unless I get an ungodly amount, which I doubt I will get an ungodly amount, but I'll take all of those questions and I will answer them in a YouTube video to celebrate 1,000 followers on WordPress. With all that said, I want you to remember that you are more than a number on a scale. You are worth so much more than that. You are such a good person, and you do not let that scale define you. I will see you guys next time. Bye!